Hello there everyone, and welcome back to another video on the channel. It has been a long time coming, but finally some F1 24 content for you. This time from the first round of league racing this season in SLR. Now, this was my second Australia race in a week. Essentially, I had WOR on the Thursday, and to be honest, it didn't go very well. Qualifying was naff. I got penalties in the race, and I crashed 3 laps from the end. I would have really shown you that on this footage today, but to be honest, the VOD was also a corrupt bit of rubbish, so there was no point making anything out of that video. And regardless, why would you want to see 2 Australia races in a week? The calendar for this season is a long one, 16 races running right to the end of this year, which makes for a very exciting championship. SLR into its 13th season now, and to be honest, it's a really exciting thing to be part of this. It's McKeon division for the first time. So yeah, let's get into this one. I'm really looking forward to it. So my first lap in the books then, to be honest, it wasn't too great. A 16.5, which it isn't terrible. It wasn't a mistake-riddled lap, but to be honest, we're sort of aiming for the low 16s, high 15s at this level to be competitive. But as you can see, into the first corner, just ran a little bit wide of the apex. You do need to try and cut that as much as you can without invalidating. So yeah, already losing a few tenths there, but I know that there's a bit of raw pace towards the middle and final sectors of this lap. So at this stage, it's worth pushing on. It's worth knowing where you've got to gain the time. Coming through, what is that, turn 6, turn 7, we find all of that time back immediately. So some signs of encouragement. We're not in a terrible position on the grid right now. As you know, I said before this race started off camera that I was just aiming for points today. There are so many seasoned veterans in this tier of league racing. I've been on and off for so many years now. It's been really hard to string together multiple league racing seasons, but as you can see, the time just still gaining in the top right corner. A little bit sluggish, a little bit of a plateau coming through the final sector, but it's that first sector where we know we've got 2-3 more attempts to be able to get into the 15s and push on. 16.2 on that lap, not too bad. What a move!
The sweet spot line! And I've got no power.
Ooh. The moment of truth then, the final lap of this 18-minute qualifying session. And I've already been looking at the numbers. I was 4 tenths off in the first sector. 4 tenths would put me 8th, but just how much time did we gain in the first corner? Much better corner cut on the entrance. And there's 3 tenths and still gaining as we go down the short second DRS straight in towards turn 3. Can I maintain this time? We run a little bit deep going into turn 3. We managed to recoup even more time coming through 4 and then 5 as well. And when you see big fluctuations in time like this, you're trying everything not to make a mistake. And then what happens? We touch a bit of the grass on the entrance to turn 6, and then we lose 3 tenths. It is just an endless cycle of pain whenever I'm doing these qualifying sessions. In order to try and be consistent throughout the course of a lap, I know that I've thrown away 2 tenths. I'm giving it everything in the late stage of the lap, and there's another about half a tenth being gained there, coming out of the quick left-right chicane. Braking zone, a little bit too tight to the corner actually, losing even more time, and wheel spinning on the exit through the second to last corner, hitting the braking point into 3rd gear. And again, it's not much better than my previous lap, and having 4 tenths being there to be gained, we only gained 1.5, and provisionally it puts us 10th. As we fast forward to the end of the session, it is going to drop us down a couple more positions to P12.
Oh, Corey to pole! Can you believe it? I still bottled a bit, but I found some time. And I found the time that I needed to find, I just lost it elsewhere.
The first league racing start of the season is underway here in Albert Park. As you can see, we've started on the hard compound of tyres. It's pretty much a balance between mediums and hards around here. Into the first corner, drastic blaze, pinches us there, and to be fair to him, probably couldn't see us. He had, I think, my teammate on the outside. It was either him or Snipes. Is racing down in towards turn 3. Then we're on the inside again of a 3-wide contingent. We just about hold on. Wide line needed into 4 as Pluto, who is on the medium tyres and who is talking with me in the party, gets past. That wasn't a problem, as I knew he was going to be a little bit quicker and might have been able to keep me in this train.
I'm behind Bahrain. It's genuinely impossible to see.
Fucking hell.
Old habits dying hard on Codemasters F1 games. Poor visibility, rear locking, you name it, we've got it. We're also adopting some of these replay cameras in editing this season. Hopefully you guys like them. Let me know what you think.
No issues with tyre wear. I fucking hope so.
Slide on exit there for Mathers. Are we going to be able to get past him here? Look at the overspeed we've got. Also using some of the battery, but he is just going to close that outside line. It's harder to go on the inside than it is the outside here. It's a very, very one person at a time corner. We're unable to get through on that occasion. Side by side up ahead between my teammates Sakir and Pluto. Pluto just edging in front. And then he's going to form an orderly queue, which he is going to lead as DRS is open.
God!
Scary moment there, as Mathers does have a slide coming through turn number 12. Bit of contact from behind with his teammate Snipes. We're becoming the filling and a hash sandwich here, and they are both making some pretty costly errors with regards to the progress of this train. We do need to escape them quite quickly. It is going to be a challenge. Haas versus Ferrari is its own little battle here. It feels like 2020 F1 all over again. Lap 5 of 29. Again, same old DRS train at this stage. Poor exit from me there on lap 5. This will be a theme coming through this race. And on my inside then is Snipes. Can we outbrake him around the outside? It's going to be challenging as Pluto ahead gets pushed off by this Haas's teammate. We then go into the back of Snipes, again getting pushed off.
Do you have me or
Track
not?
there is the Aston Martin.
I can.
Okay.
A bit of communication in the party as I've got to take control of this train. Pluto is already considering at this point an early pit stop because of the traffic and because of the big gap it's left in front. And by lap 7 of 29, there's another error on my part. They were few and far between, but I was still making them. As we try and close down Sakir, as you can see, gap up ahead, 2.8 is that on the screen. Pluto gets back through. We will take him back on this straight, but it's very difficult to do so, as here comes Snipes around the outside. He takes both of us, coming into turn 8 and 9. Then we've got to get the DRS open and go for the move ourselves, because, again, double DRS, Pluto doesn't have it. And that makes it hard for him to defend. We rear lock over the curb. There's a mistake for Snipes. It's just a montage of frustrating errors at this point in the first stint of the race.
See, I don't want to let him through because the next Corey just starts sliding on the apex.
Yeah.
My teammate has a penalty.
This was a key point in the race. I'd brought the gap to my teammate down now from about 2.7 to 1.7. Clearly I can see he's starting to make some mistakes. The aim was to pit on lap 17 onto a set of medium tyres, but as he was on the same strategy as me, I'd had to get past him to be able to have first dibs at that pit stop. So it was time to push as hard as I was doing before.
Poor penalty, that's good for me.
Finally then, I closed up to my teammate, and lap 14 was the first opportunity to make the move. I made this move because, well, we had penalties for the cars behind in Paul and for Snipes. I was noticing that gap just started to go beyond a second.
You're going to go for it here?
Any risk in
being
held up by my teammate and falling back into the clutches of them again. Is Sakir going to go for it on the next lap? Lap 15. We're cutting through these laps quite quickly now. It was a half-hearted attempt coming through turns 9 and 10 down the second DRS straight. Then he's going to go to the outside here. We back out on the inside because I know that lap 16 I wanted to make the pit stop and I would have been able to get back past him again. I was very surprised actually he went for that move, considering we were on the same strategy, and I'm sure he may have wanted to pit on this lap as well. We stay behind then, doing what he did previously. We're going to set ourselves up on this second bit of DRS straight here. DRS open once again. Battery being burned. We can afford to. We can charge ourselves back up in the pit lane. Down the inside we go, running a bit deep. He could have maybe switched back to us, but I think it was perhaps safer that he didn't. Otherwise, he'd be going down the inside into a pretty quick corner. Regardless, we've got first dibs in the pit stop. We're coming in now, 50-mile-an-hour speed limit, being careful not to speed, because you get a 10-second time penalty, and we don't.
Oh, God, I missed my... I forgot it was in a Ferrari.
No, we don't do that.
I thought it was the end.
Yeah, I thought we were at the end of the pit lane rather than the beginning.
Oh,
That's cost ourselves around half a second, which, to be honest, I think we can make back with the undercut. Exiting the pit lane then, we've lost 3 track positions due to earlier medium runners that had pit for hards.
I think you've stopped way too early for mediums.
Nope.
Pluto, who's in the party with me, making his thoughts very clear on my
Oh,
strategy.
you idiot.
Considering he did pit very early.
Fuck's sake.
Maybe you were right.
Fuck's sake, Mathers. We had a good thing going.
Fuck.
And frustration is
go.
very clear as the safety car comes out immediately after we pit then. Continuing on in this race, lap 20, the safety car restart, and already built with action
so helpful.
going on there. It's just going to be a bit of a
No,
montage
I'm not gonna have DRS,
at this
and
point
now I am
of
going to get
cars
spun.
being
Fucking
held,
idiots,
people
I
being
swear to God.
spun. Not people being spun.
I'm
This
just
was
turning
a
on me.
fairly
Yeah.
clean race, but it's
Smart
Pluto
guy.
up ahead, getting frustrated with, I think, one of the Haas cars. And just like that, we have lost all ground. This is the fight for P9 and P8.
What a
so
fucking cunt.
7th onwards.
I
They were in
cannot
a league of their own
believe the
all
status on
race,
these people.
but they just kept getting further and further ahead due to our battling, our squabbling on this restart. Sakir and Runnard, the 2 cars in front of me, both with 3-second penalties. Pluto also being swarmed now because he lost the DRS 1 lap after the restart. Of course, now you get the DRS, and through goes a couple of cars on in there. Watching our backs, watching our tails, and into turn 11. Down the inside goes Paul on us there. I think he hit the curb slightly. Very lucky he didn't actually understeer into us. I think we just about left a car's width, so no concern with that move. But yeah, onwards we go then, and cutting between shots. A heli-cam of this 3-way battle, and Snipes is going to get us on the inside here because we get a little bit stuck and boxed in behind Pluto. Does he make the move into turn 1? Yes, he does. A nice little move there from Snipes. Being opportunistic, but we're down into P13. Points are looking unlikely at this point, as I think we're ahead of actually cars with penalties. Lap 23, still in P13, still watching this fight that now goes up to P10, as I think Darnell in front of us was starting to get away in one of the kick Saubers, as was Runnard as well. So yeah, we are looking on for either no points at all or only 1 or 2 in this race. A little bit to be salvaged here. Points was the aim, of course. Side by side with Pluto now to try and take command of this train. Look at this swarm of cars, about 5 of us, all fighting away here. Definitely made for a spectacular look on the stream. And I do wish the graphics did resemble a little bit more of what we have in the timing tower on the left-hand side when you inspect it. And these, of course, the replay cams. And who's that going wide? It's Darnell, who was streaking clear of us. He's lost a position. And just like that, we're up 2 places in the space of 1 lap. And now sticking with Snipes, and look who's ahead as well, our teammate Sakir with a 3-second time penalty. Suddenly, from looking on for no points at all, we are fighting for 9th, and that would actually be a position I'd be very satisfied with come the end of this race due to all this battling that's going on. Can we get past Snipes here? It's been a race-long battle between us, the Hasses, the Ferraris, the Saubers, the Aston Martins as well. Runners, as you can see, 5 seconds in front of us now, but we make the move, and of course because of the double DRS we will still be within a second of Sakir for a 4-lap shootout to the end, but we don't make it easy for ourselves, do we, as we have a bit of a slide through turn 1. That's not for the first time today. A few corners I was just getting slightly wrong on a few occasions, but as I alluded to earlier, no major mistakes. We make the move anyway on lap 26. it was looking unlikely I could catch up to Runnard. He had a lot more raw pace, and he was in the long DRS train of the cars in front. Is Sakir going to try and fight back? No, he isn't. He just carry a bit more speed because of the DRS, and well, he eventually gets put into 11th. And I did feel kind of bad for him. I did have to use him quite a lot in this race. He was a reserve teammate, so we didn't really have any communication going on, but he did get a penalty. You know, I did want to sort of make myself have the first choice of pit stop in the race. So some difficult decisions were made.
What the fuck,
that
mate?
was nearly race ending. You can hear how
Whoa.
scared I was as Snipes goes through on lap 28 on the inside, then just runs a bit too wide, and you end up bouncing over that outside curb. And yeah, that was nearly race over for both Ferraris. It's the final lap of the race here. Snipes, no penalties. Myself, no penalties. It was a now or never overtake. On the final lap of this race, we go to the outside of the chicane. Yes, he just backs out on the inside. It's important now to get a good exit. Coming through the right-hander, DRS open once again, defending to the inside because the slipstream's still powerful pre-patch. This was the last day before the update. Oh my word, that was a scary rear lock moment and really epitomised this race. But with 2 more corners to go, we've done enough to score 2 points on SLR McKeon Division debut. Well done to Corey for his pole to victory. Very, very impressive drives and no penalties handed out in this race. Post-race,
That will do.
that will do indeed. It's P9 in the
Fucking
Australian
hell.
Grand Prix. Full classification then on your screen for the Australian Grand Prix. Round 2 this week heads to Belgium, simultaneous to the real life Grand Prix, of course. I hope to bring you a video on that, either that or my WMR race in Austria. Try and make these videos as frequently as I can. But thank you all very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, whatever it is you're up to. Take care.